Join Johannes, a necromancer of some little infamy, and his charismatic brother Horst in the many adventures of the Cabal brothers on the Necromancer's Deathcast. From circuses to dreamlands in turn-of-the-century Never England, author Jonathan L. Howard brings his dry wit and exceptionally clever writing to the series of the most intense and tumultuous proportions. Rise up, all ye undead, and rejoice in the wonder that is the Necromancer's Deathcast. Welcome to the Necromancer's Deathcast, brought to you by Free Flow Rambling. This is episode 3.11, Grand Guignol, where we are discussing the book Johannes Cabal, the Necromancer. My name is Tanzan, and I am joined by Amber.
Hello.
And Jess.
Hi, hi.
Chapter 11. The last 24 hours of the carnival begins, and Johannes still needs 2 more souls. Horst is less than supportive and implores for his brother to give up and seek redemption. Johannes refuses, and the carnival traps its next soul via Penny Arcade. Chapter 11, in which Cabal preys upon misfortune and there is unpleasantness.
It is unpleasant.
Yes.
This is an unpleasant chapter.
This is
Little dark.
fully one. Yeah, I think it might actually be next chapter
Yeah.
when Cabal is being accused of being evil. But yeah, this is like the chapter where it's like, yeah, fully hard left.
Yeah.
But see, I love this chapter for that fact. It's like there are so many moral questions throughout it. Where is that line? Where's the line when you're dealing with the carnival of Satan? You know, like where's the line in the sand on morals?
Well, there's a question about whether or not you're dealing with a hero character or not when you read this series. And yeah, this chapter fully is no.
Anti-hero time.
Yeah, really.
So yes, even though impossible, the carnival is up and running the evening it arrives. And no one can explain how it had been done.
I love that little quote that I wrote it down. They all jumped in unison as the steam calliope started up behind them. All turned and said a minor variation of, ooh. One less O here, one more exclamation mark there.
Yep, sort of that literary world versus, Cabal's world overlap. The fourth wall breaks down.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Horst gives them the free entry for the first night, which the town politely accepts.
They accept it, but they are much stranger about it than previously seen.
Than other towns, yeah.
Yeah, they're much more of a unit than we've seen so far. Good bunch of friends, this town.
It's a
Very
friendly sort of
close-knit.
town. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting that this is the last sort of town before he claims his final soul, right? Of course, this has to be the nicest, friendliest, most easygoing, tight-knit community that you could find.
Right. And they've already been sabotaged by the station being supernaturally resurrected. So everything is all sorts of kerfuckled to start with.
Yeah.
Good old Satan.
Good old Satan.
Mm-hmm.
Really gets that last laugh.
I like the quote. For a second, it seemed to say, "Abandon all hope, ye who enter here." But after a moment, it definitely proclaimed how the crowned heads of here, there, and everywhere regarded the carnival as ideal entertainment for those of inherited money and limited gene pool, this being regarded as a fine advertisement in some quarters. It's interesting, too, to see that sort of dynamic between, like, the entertainment of the upper classes versus lower classes, right?
Mhm.
Like, that's very...
Well, and I thought what was nice about that whole statement that you just quoted is that sort of shows Barrow and his intuitiveness. And he's a very solid character. He's got quite the head on his shoulders. Like, he sees things for what they really are.
Mm-hmm. He's down to earth. And it's interesting, I put as a note, JLH showing his love and reverence for the monarchy again. Ha ha ha. The whole limited gene pool aspect. But yeah, I mean, that's the dichotomy, right? Is Barrow taking a look at this and sort of judging it as, okay.
Yeah, Barrow's an excellent enemy, foil for Cabal.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, he's got the same sort of intelligence level, I'd say.
Yep.
Like street smarts, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this being their penultimate night, and things just weren't right. Cabal could not put his finger on it.
Right.
So a little bit of foreshadowing there. Obviously, we're coming to a climax.
Yeah, Johannes is fretting because the crowd is staying together and still suspicious. Horst has to explain to him that they're all nervous and the circumstances of the carnivals showing up is odd to them.
This is people of the town still acting nervous and suspicious. Yeah, exactly. Despite the PR spin. Face it, Johannes, I doubt anything out of the ordinary has happened in this place since some passing peasant thought it was a clever place to start a town in year dot.
Real good. The part that was most interesting for me was that after all this time, Horst had never known that Cabal was making a contract for his soul back. That just fully didn't conceptualize to me. That's, the whole reason this is happening, It seems like a weird thing to have not come up with Horst. Why are you doing this, brother?
So essentially, yeah, he knew it was about his soul, but he wasn't sure what lengths Cabal would go to for those souls? No?
Well, it's not the way I read it, because he says Horst is trying to be like, this place is a washout, and Johannes is like, it can't be a washout. It's the last port. There's 2 souls. I have to get 2 souls, or this whole thing has been a waste of time. And 98 souls, 99, my life is forfeit. You never said anything about that. What are you talking? So for me, I take that to mean like he didn't realize that this whole thing was, 100 souls against Johannes is 1. That's how I take it. Because if he doesn't hit 100 souls...
He knows that he made a deal with the devil, but he didn't necessarily know what
what it was for, exactly, but he didn't understand the stakes. That's the thing, is like, I feel like Horst should have asked by now, like, why are we doing this? Because essentially what Johannes is correct. If he only gets 98 souls, then that means, or even only 99, he'll forfeit anyways. If he doesn't get 100, he's still counted again. He'll be...
But he's not counted in the 100 because he's already basically, that's...
No, but he will then be doomed as much as the other 98 or 99, right? If he doesn't achieve 100, then he might as well just chalk his own soul up in the 100.
Okay. I found that statement, that whole paragraph there, just a little bit unclear.
Yeah, so that's how I took it anyways. I could be wrong, but I took it
now
essentially
I feel like we need to go back and see when the first sort of reference, in the crypts, when... Was there not some sort of explanation then?
They talked about, Horst figures out that he's got to deal with the devil.
Yeah, but the details aren't clear.
But the details aren't mentioned then.
But then it's from a character, why would Horst then say, okay, yeah, I'll get on board? What's in it for him other than, I guess, his freedom from the crypt?
It's freedom and helping, he's still his little brother.
Ugh, but it's such a challenging relationship. My asshole little sibling came up and said...
Sorry, it's been 8 years.
Sorry, I trapped you. You want to come and rescue my soul? I'd be like, well, for what you just did to me. Do you not deserve a certain amount? Sorry, I love you, sisters. I would do anything for you, my lovely siblings.
Right.
Yeah, Jess is doing full-on research now.
So essentially, back in the crypt when they meet up, that it was during the 8 years that Horst was stuck in the crypt that Johannes went and gave away his soul.
Yeah.
And so when they're having the conversation with each other, Horst is like, you wouldn't, there's nothing worse than that. Why would you do that? And he's like, oh, it was necessary for my research, but now I need it back, and I've gone and made a wager. And he goes to tell Horst, and Horst is like, no, let me figure it out. Let me work. I've had little enough to amuse me all this time. And then he, the whole spider race is bullshit.
Oh, interesting.
Anyways, let me see if my brain still works.
So
you'd never have made a wager unless it was for something that you wanted incredibly badly from somebody who would never willingly part from it. So whoever this other party is must be the one who can't turn down a pleasing bet. They must have made the terms. You'd never have suggested something involving a carnival. That suggests somebody with a sense of irony, that word again, or at least a sense of petty sadism. Who does that remind me of? And so he kind of lets his mind wander to Satan being the person, but not actually what the wager is about.
Interesting.
And then Johannes does say the wager is to garner 100 souls in a year.
But he doesn't say what he's put on the line.
That's it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so it was left as an open-ended, and now as we get towards the climax, Horst is realizing that...
Wait a second.
Wait, this is for your soul as well?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, good catch, Jess. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes. So obviously Horst is upset about that. As he's just fully hardcore helped this last year to trade in 100 souls for his brothers.
Right.
Because I guess I imagine from going over that beginning back in the crypt, it might have seemed like, Cabal kind of had no choice. But at this point, Horst has no choice but to accept how selfish it was and be like, great. Thanks, bitch.
But is it selfish? What's Horst's issue? So Horst's issue is that his little brother was so stupid to wager his soul in the first place or give away his soul in the first place, or that he'd been trapped into dealing with this carnival? Because, I'm sorry, it wasn't entrapment if you signed up and went, yeah, okay, I'll come with you, Cabal. Right?
As we see as this chapter progresses, part of Horst's coming to terms with this is that he's able to write off the first 98 souls because for some reason or another, they were already doomed. Horst believes that one way or another, they were going to go to hell anyways. They were already bad people. Johannes was pretty much just doing the paperwork for what would have been inevitable until, as we find in this chapter, we meet the one person that Horst fully believes was not destined for hell, and Johannes just completely corrupted just to get his souls, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's a little, even before that moment comes to full realization, it's just Horst feeling manipulated in and of itself. Because even though he might have not asked for all the full details at the beginning, it's also a little bit, Johannes is not the most forthcoming. Mm-hmm. And obviously, as much as I feel like a year is a long time to waste, if you're just talking about the crypt, dude had been in essentially like solitary confinement for 8 years. I don't expect you to be all about your faculties day one and asking all the right questions, Well, you kind of I've got to deal with Satan, and it involves a carnival and 100 souls. That's a lot of information right off the bat.
Yeah, and P.S., you're the general manager. Right?
Yeah, right? So. But then, and now a year's gone by. Okay, Horst, you could have brought it up before now, but for, plot's sake.
Well, I think things sort of get out of control for Horst with how he's watching this whole thing progress. Yeah. It just builds and builds until finally he's like, no, I can't be behind this anymore.
And we've also kind of had a little bit of almost like a comedy. Every time Horst is almost stumbling onto something, the day breaks. And he's like, I gotta go to bed, bye.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a little bit of that.
Well, there's a lot of shit going on. We've got several chapters of ghost train stations and necromancers coming and trapping people. And
it's hard to talk about Horst when we're talking about Timmy.
Like there's a lot of shit going on.
There's
and like you say, Horst gotta hit his bedtime when the day breaks. So
and even Johannes has said too, he's like, I don't know what the fuck is happening in this carnival. I don't know, like 95% of it just runs on its own. I show up at the end with a contract. Yeah. Awesome possum, right? But even he says like constantly, he's like every time he turns the corner, he sees some random bullshit going on in his carnival, and he's like, what? I don't know.
Sounds like a management job to me.
Right.
What bullshit carnival am I running today?
Yeah, exactly. I think, even for Horst himself, too. There's just, Well, I mean, as we've seen, there's nonstop everything going on, Can't be in the House of Mirrors and the Penny Arcade and the Ghost Train all at once. So, yeah, it's hard to keep on top of it all.
Right.
So it's interesting, though, that he has this brief freak out just before the massive...
Wow.
Yeah.
Listen, if you're going to have a freak out, the last 24 hours of any sort of deal is the time to...
It's usually when the shit hits the fan on a big level.
You procrastinate a question you really don't want to ask, and now on the final countdown, you're like, all right, I guess I should probably figure out what this is about.
I don't know how I
just
feel.
Just in case I want to sabotage it. I've only got about 24 hours.
Well, Horst really believes that he has an out. That he's talked, like, he thinks it's more than just logistics and that he can get out of it because that Satan hasn't actually followed through on his end of the bargain.
He fully committed to this, despite the fact that he's never met Satan and never made a wager with Satan. He's like, you can get out of any contract like that. It'll be fine. He's so confident. He's got me being like, yeah, let's read this contract one more time. I'm sure it'll be fine.
And
that's one soul every 3 days.
I know, right? That's easy, right? Easy.
And Johannes is a little bit more black and white in that way, that it's just, here's the rules, and I agreed to them, so I have to do this. Whereas Horst has got a little bit more creativity.
Yeah.
Where he can go, question this.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's a fair, though, because it is kind of funny to think that, well, essentially this book starts with Johannes trying to go back on a deal. He essentially goes back to Satan. He's like, let's make a new wager to trump the first wager, right? But he otherwise is very much, okay, he told me I had to use a carnival, so I'm going to use a carnival. And he told me I had to be 100 souls by April's witches Oktoberfest thing, whatever the hell is happening at the end of April. But yeah, Horst. They're just the same sound. Horst and Johannes are the exact same sound to me. And I just cannot.
Homonyms.
Yeah. Anyways, Horst is very much like, no, we got this. It's fine. It's fine. Just like, you can just break it. It's fine. We can just walk away from this. No problem whatsoever. You can burn the 98 contracts you already have and never give them over to Satan. It'll be fine. It's like,
Yeah, Horst calls Johannes out on why he's doing this, and we get this first little glimpse of a backstory starting to develop for Cabal that we've never really had before.
Well, and it's interesting, too. Ye gods, Johannes, you were going to be a doctor. You wanted to help people. Yeah, doctors, frauds, and quacks just trying to hold back the dark and full of pat excuses when they fail, too stupid or too scared to bring back the light. Not me, not me. So I found this interesting, and especially in light of the next chapter where Johannes is confronted by a detective basically saying the same thing. You've got the hands of a doctor. You've got the dexterity of a doctor. So why are you running a carnival?
Mhm.
As you were saying, the backstory, it's sort of like, okay. He was destined for something and something took a left turn somewhere.
Well, and we know this from having read Exeunt King.
Exeunt
Yes, that's the
King.
Christmas story. Exeunt King. Exeunt? I don't know. I don't care. Exit King.
Sure.
He's going through the constable and telling him, like, I wanted to be a surgeon and I, went to medical school. And he went through this whole with the constable. So we as readers know that, he did have this whole career in the medical field. And then, it's hinted throughout both that short story and this one that, he clearly was not okay with the limitations of being a doctor. And he's like, we can push this farther. And that's when all of this stuff came about. But I imagine,
something happened.
Yeah, I imagine, when Cabal got into this, he probably wasn't looking to do, magic spells and deal with demons. He was probably just looking to, bring people back to life and save them.
Stop death. Yeah.
Just so happened to be, that is only possible with the doohickey experiments and demons and monsters,
Sacrificing your soul to Satan.
Yeah,
Basics.
the fine print on every job contract.
The fine print on every job.
Yeah.
He's had some sort of traumatic experience that has altered his life.
Mm-hmm.
That he has to...
Quite
that
annoying.
He even he compares himself to a modern Prometheus, which I thought was kind of interesting. I had to look up, of course. I had to do a little research on Prometheus, just the god of fire. And Prometheus is best known for defying the gods by stealing fire and then giving it to humanity in the form of technology, knowledge, and general civilization.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that comparison. I guess it's one of those things, okay. The great man theory? It's essentially do you think Napoleon had to be Napoleon or any man could have stepped into that? Did Hitler have to be Hitler or could have any man stepped into it?
Whoever.
I wanted to name a king, but I don't think any king ever needed to exist for anything to happen in that regard. But
Jess shares JLH's feelings about the monarchy.
Yeah, but did it need to be Obama or did it need to be Trump or did it like any of these big names in history? Did it need to be them or was it just kind of a vacant space that anyone could have stepped in and done? Right. And so I find, it's one of those things with had Prometheus failed, we would have never heard about it. But because he succeeded, he's this great big, brought fire to humanity story, right? So it's kind of like one of those things, if Johannes fails, it's like, you're fucking stupid. How dare you compare yourself to Prometheus? But if he really does bring back life after death, holy shit, we revere this guy as a god, right? And so I think, at the point when he's still a human and closer to our level, I'm a little bit like, bitch. Prometheus, ha! You wish.
Your hubris will be the end of you.
Oh, fully, right? I take it much more as Icarus,
Right.
We'll see how this goes.
Well, careful how close to the sun you get there, buddy.
Is another side of the coin to Prometheus. Prometheus was punished by Zeus, and he has an eagle that he's bound to a rock, and an eagle is sent to eat his liver, and his liver regenerates and every day.
Yeah.
And has the same thing happen to him. The Greeks believed that the liver is the seat of emotion. So it's eating this emotion out of him, kind of
his love of humanity.
Yeah.
What caused him to give us the fire?
So it's kind of is this some kind of foreshadowing that he's going to?
Well, and even then, I would say that Johannes is kind of already living in that eaten liver every single day, and that's what he's trying to get out of. Is that he's found himself in a stasis where he cannot go forward, and he's not happy with the results he has. So he's essentially attempting to be all right, I attempted to steal fire, and
I will challenge the gods.
I failed, and I'm having this, but he doesn't have a Zeus to go to, so he's like, all right, Satan, you're the closest
god I know.
Closest god I know, right? Well, because one has to assume if Satan exists, then God exists in this world, right? And we know we've got any number of demons working for Satan, so essentially we can probably assume that there's angels out there, right? Other than that, we're not too sure if there's any other... just because he's referencing Prometheus, he probably doesn't believe in the Greek gods as far as I've gotten from this book so far. I don't think it's
part of
the
canon.
Entire pantheon is existing here. I think it is just the heaven and hell only, at least thus far.
Well, I was going to say, in the next chapter, we do dive into sort of his views on heaven and hell, which I freaking love that part.
He's a weirdo.
Right? So it's...
But anyways, so
he's got
for
some
this,
views. He's got perspectives.
So it seems very much like his.
Yeah. And I thought it was interesting. You see a little bit of that bargaining response, like you were saying about Horst being creative. Basically, Horst tries to find loopholes he's looking for solutions, any kind of holes in the contract once he actually knows about it, right? So there's no hole in my contract, says Cabal. I signed my soul over in return for the tenets of necromancy. So there's a very clear response. FYI, in case there was any questions, Horst, this is what happened. But also just that sort of, well, there's got to be a loophole. There's got to be a way, So kudos to Horst for, trying to think creatively, but so much.
I take it honestly as like naivety on Horst, though, at this point.
Oh?
I don't really take it as uplifting or positive or outsmarting the devil. I take it as just like, bitch, you have no idea what's going on. We're way too late for that.
From Horst?
In the moment when he's just talking about it right now, I fully am just like, I don't know, I'm not with you, bud. It's a great, nice little hope to hold on to. But at this point, we don't really have the time, buddy.
Right. See, because later on, I really like this section as well, like a couple more than a few paragraphs later. Horst opened his arms. He hadn't held his little brother since he was a child. They had never been close, and Cabal's admission that he'd hated Horst had explained a lot. But even now, and even here, blood was still thicker than water. So, I think there is a genuine, oh my God, my little brother is... You're shaking your head. Do you disagree?
I brought it up earlier on this show.
Yeah.
The blood is thicker than water is the wrong quote. It's misused. And I feel like JLH knows the real quote.
Well, just the idea. Okay. Beyond the quote,
I understand
there's an
the quote.
empathy. There's a sympathy for his brother,
It's
right?
a very sweet moment.
Yes.
I just, knowing how JLH brings in everything. I mean, this man references every book that's ever been written. I don't know how he has the time for this. It's a lot of extra reading. But the whole, the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb.
Right.
So essentially, the blood spilled in battle and war and brotherhood is more important than, your siblings or your mother or your father,
Right.
And I just...
I remember you mentioning that.
Yeah, so it's I just cannot trust JLH when he uses terms like this, because it's I know you're talking about Lovecraftian monsters. You have to know this quote.
Maybe you're just smarter than the author, Jess. Do you have one?
Yes, let's go with that. That's probably it.
And we can't expect JLH to know everything about everything, even though...
Oh, I do.
Yeah, okay.
I
you
do
have
not...
high expectations
I don't
of
give him any wiggle room whatsoever.
Do you treat your Dresden writer like this, too?
Yeah. Jim Butcher and Jonathan L. Howard can make no mistakes. And if they do, we're going to have words.
Tough critics.
There's one moment I wanted to bring up that was with the discussion for Horst, trying to convince him to look for the loophole. Actually, there's a couple of little cute moments. What would I want with Satan's soul? But when Horst says it's a philosophical minefield, kind of giving him this, basically saying to him that there's the open for any sort of available way to get out of this contract. Whereas Cabal, the quote in that is, Cabal had a brief mental image of Aristotle walking halfway across an open field and unexpectedly disappearing in a fireball. Descartes and Nietzsche looked on appalled. And I not only is this a funny moment, but it's a great example about how Johannes takes everything at a very face value.
Mm.
And that he's takes things very literally. So that's the first thing that he thinks of, which is, fun. But it was meant as you've got endless opportunity.
I'm with you there.
Well said.
Derp,
Derp, derp, derp.
No, I agree with that.
Look at you sounding smart.
I spend a lot of my time rolling my eyes at Johannes when he does that sort of, when you're in improv and you're supposed to always be yes and, yes and, yes and. And Johannes is always just no. And just always stop it dead every single time.
Just no.
Yeah.
See, and I think that's why the two make such a good duo. Horst is the creative problem solver and Cabal's the pragmatic one.
That's a really nice way of saying it.
Well, I like Cabal.
We all like Cabal.
As much of a dick as he is, I feel like, if I actually met him in person, I'm not sure we'd...
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I would assault him, I'm sure. Punch to the face.
I think I knew nerds like him in high school.
Did you punch them in the face?
Well, no, I was also a bit of a nerd, so nerd don't fight nerd.
Well, they should.
That was the rule in my high school.
So Horst does plead for Johannes to redeem himself, which Johannes isn't even sure he can do.
And Mr. Bones, the comic relief, comes busting in, breaks up the conversation. The brother bonding moment disrupted. I loved Horst's notes regarding Mr. Bones. Up until now, it had been very easy to forget that he was nothing more than a tiny bit of hell that had been brought to earth and put in a boater. That smile had changed everything. They were talking about taking someone's soul, and it was cause for delight.
It was a really sad moment, that.
But it made me laugh.
It was. it was
which
said in
I
a very
find the
funny way.
juxtaposition of this entire series. It's like, oh, dark. Oh, dark.
We're crying, but we're laughing.
Yeah.
Because he's about to, give his brother a hug, and then boom, he sees Cabal look at Bones, and then back comes, as he puts it, his brother had vanished and been replaced by Cabal the Necromancer. And that was just like
Tender moment broken.
Oh.
Yeah.
You've almost got that moment where, Horst and Bones are like the devil and angel on Cabal's shoulders, right?
Right.
And it's like right there, like Horst has like really been laying into him with this whole angel whispering in the ear, and then suddenly, Bones is like, I'm
Back
still
to
here.
work.
Yeah.
Right. And the timing seems to indicate that Carnival itself is invested in keeping Johannes on task.
Fully seems,
And it's and he's single-minded on this obsession anyway, so it's not like it's going to be very hard for them to.
Well, look
be
at
like,
all the intention.
"Hey."
See, this is what we were saying before we were recording, like the whole intentionality. If you put the intention towards something, it has no choice but to go in that same, direction, really. Like you push something in one direction, it's really hard to get it moving the other, right? So,
well, we've said before, like this whole train seems to be a little bit
Sentient?
spooktacular.
sentient. This train seems to be a bit sentient on its
Haunted?
own. Yes. Because even from the very first get-go, when Cabal first discovered it in those woods, right? Like the whole thing just came to life on its own anyways, right from the get-go, right? And like you said just now, once the train starts rolling, it's pretty hard to put a stop on it. So it seems very much like even though Satan maybe wants him to fail, it seems like, the carnival has one purpose and is sentient and will do, its job is to collect these souls.
Yeah,
So
the automatons are the automatons.
well, even regardless of Satan and regardless of Cabal, the train has a job to get done,
Yeah. And I don't know if such sentience would care much for sentimentality of brother bonding,
Well, no, that gets in the way.
Especially when he's showing that moment of weakness that he's like, maybe
Might have some reluctance and
maybe I can.
rethinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that continues as Bones, Cabal, and Horst head to the victim who was identified in the penny arcade.
Well, Bones and Cabal go to see him. Horse, zoom, 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 zoom.
Yeah, well, his vampire super speed puts him in touch with the woman before anybody else. And so I've got a quote here. She was young, probably not even 20, and Horst had rarely seen such an expression of ingrained misery. And he could see his brother and Bones approaching. He didn't have enough time for subtlety or even just mesmerize and steer her out of there. So Horst introduces himself as like basically support to the woman and warns her against Cabal's intentions. Whatever you do, don't give in to temptation. Promise me, don't give in. He hissed and moved away.
He really tries to save this woman.
He does.
I was going to say, interestingly, we never find out the woman's name.
Nope.
And it's always, and I kind of wonder if the woman's name becomes unimportant because of Johannes is dehumanizing at this point.
Interesting. Like all his victims so far who have been damned regardless are named
Had names.
this, and this, but here's this woman who isn't actually, she's not on Satan's list to begin with. So she never has a name,
Even
right?
more interesting is that, since she could not have been on Satan's eye line, she
No.
doesn't get a name.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
That is cool. Yeah, that's good
I
notice.
took it originally as more like, in this case, her being a mother was the most important thing about her, Her name is Mom,
Right.
Mother, right? But even that, seems like a weaker argument against.
Yeah,
She's
well, she's
not
referred to as the
Satan's
woman
eyes.
or young
Yeah.
woman constantly. It's not. So, yeah, no, interesting.
Mhm.
Interesting that she's not named, but
Like
she
it
wasn't
could happen to anybody.
she wasn't intended to be damned, so therefore that manipulation is
Even that
evident.
is another good concept, is that, it could happen to anyone. She's just that blank face, It's like,
She showed up having a
Since-
shit day.
wrong place, wrong time. She
Yep.
just, In the final countdown, it's whoever they can pin the tail on the donkey at this point.
Yeah.
Sorry. Musical interlude there for you.
I like it.
Thanks. I can't hear the final countdown without flying back to the 80s, It happens. I'm sorry.
Did you state it? Okay.
Oh,
Ooh.
burn. Group hug later. So,
Thank
yeah.
God I'm radioing in.
Cabal and Bones are still seeking the woman at the entrance. And Cabal tries his luck at the gypsy fortune teller booth again for guidance. And she'd proved useful in the past, he recalled, perhaps again.
All right.
I love the gypsy.
The gypsy's great. But even before that, there are any number of women who might have been either miserable or just fashionably inexpressive. It's this fancy way of saying resting bitch face. Like,
AKA any woman?
Yeah. Like, what a commentary.
I say that as a woman. I have concentrating bitch face.
And any knack for spotting misery that he may have once passed had long since atrophied through lack of use. Not only a funny statement, but sort of shows an example of how long Cabal has been single-minded towards his goals and obsessed.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Yeah, he's fully losing it with this whole humanity thing.
True story.
I do love how the Madame Destiny just sort of gives him a smackdown.
Oh, right?
A subtle one, but
He doesn't care about.
Yeah, manners maketh the man. Yeah. He's like, what does it mean? Don't be an arsehole. That was funny. You will meet a woman who has what she does not want. Give her a solution and she will be generous. And eventually, after the same urging for details, the gypsy says that woman has a baby who's driving her crazy.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Johannes doesn't even ask, like, politely in the first place. Like, he threatens her with a hatchet kind of thing.
Hence, Madame Destiny's advice, try saying please in the future, you arsehole.
I laughed really hard when I heard that.
I did too. Cabal, basic manners. Come on. He'll go a lot further in life. Why does everyone like Horst? Because he's polite, you dick.
Yeah.
He doesn't have his head up his arse.
Weirdly enough.
He's not single-purposed in his intentions.
Yeah.
Social skills go a long way.
Fact. Go figure. So, yes. So,
Johannes involves a little bit more diabolical influence and chants the leftover penny tableau, and it appears as the mother's escape.
He's hitting her in the soft spot, or rather, the penny arcade is hitting her in the soft spot, right? Like, here's your life.
Right to the meat and bones of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. So we see that there's that sort of haunted aspect to kind of tap into people's, hidden desires and fears and terrors and problems.
Right.
So yes, but over on the side, we see somebody's eyes, another pair of eyes in it nearby prickled, grew moist, and silently wept.
I put a note on that one, too.
Yeah.
Horst has such a soft and loving heart.
He's such a wonderful vampire.
Not bad for a parasite.
Super kind for a bloodthirsty killer. Such a sweetheart for a sadist.
It's true, though.
Yeah.
So you see when women feeding coins into the tableau, it presents a scene of
infanticide.
Thanks.
How had she escaped? She needed to know with a strange urgency. So yeah, feeding it coins to see what actually happens with this woman's scenario. How did she escape?
And it conveniently has the recipe of the
poison. Easy escape, just kill your child.
Mm-hmm.
This is not advice. Please do not take it as such.
We find out that she does go along with it.
Yeah.
Like, that takes very little influence. It's not even here, sign this contract and we'll take this problem away from you.
No.
It's a full-on...
She leaves the carnival that night.
They don't even have her soul yet. Like, it's a go fuck yourself first and then we'll get you.
Yeah. This is another backwards version because, even little Timmy in the mirrors, they were ready to do it just... to give him an astronaut's life, like it was just this imagination that they were wanting to build off of this child. And then obviously that was stopped and put an end to because he's a child. But in this moment, you're not damned yet. You have to be damned in order to have this contract exist, I guess.
Here's my question. Like, why? Why could he not? I don't know.
Well, I think this is just
There's got to be, here's me being the not evil one going, there's got to be another way to get a soul without, forcing infanticide or suggesting, not so much forcing, but.
Again, though, I think this is a little bit like, Johannes himself has become quite blind to what he's doing because it's very much just become a job like him as well, just as much as a carnival. You wake up every day and you do your job. And thus far, it's been so easy that I think in this moment, it doesn't even occur to him, and as we've said before, like he doesn't really think of a plan B, plan C, plan D until it's necessary. He's got his first plan. He's like, well, why wouldn't we go ahead with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think, in his head, he's just like, all right, so, in his head, he probably plans out, she'll kill her baby and she'll be arrested and we'll go and pretend to be her lawyer and we'll get her out of jail, right? It doesn't occur to him to do another.
We do learn that there was a murder, she killed her baby, and the suspect claims the carnival was involved. The woman had told the police at the penny arcade showing her how to create the poison. So the police insist on seeing the penny arcade. They've also brought Mr. Barrow,
Mm-hmm.
who we learn is an ex-detective inspector.
Yes, and he says she came to this carnival last night, the very same night she concocts a poison and uses it. I don't think she could have become a Lucretia Borgia at such short notice without professional help. I laughed. I think that was the first comic relief in a while. But once upon a time, I actually was a little obsessed with the history of the Borgias. And interestingly, Lucretia was essentially the wife the daughter, super important dudes in Italy, eventually became popes. And essentially, it's not the actual history. Like it's a pretty clean history in a lot of ways. Like there's some insinuations, but nothing's really proven. There was I think she had like 3 marriages, and the first one was annulled, basically because, quote unquote, he couldn't do his manly duties. And then basically the husband said, yeah, and incest in your family. So that was kind of that. And essentially all of the stuff about the poisons, like it's historically well known that like people were dropping dead around her constantly. And it was a lot of sort of political maneuvering by her father and brother, but people were dropping dead of poison all around her. And of course, history has sanitized that somewhat because nothing's proven, nothing's shown. These were pretty important, influential people, so things are not necessarily written down. But there was a play that followed that. I'm trying to remember who wrote the play. I'd have to relook it up. But essentially in the play, it sort of dives a little deeper into the sensational aspects of like the poisoning and the incest and all these allegations that had come against Lucretia. So it's not so much historical account of the Borgias, but like everybody kind of knew at the time that they were shady fuckers. And so, the popular plays, much like, in today's day, the popular, magazines will sort of tell you the juicy, gossipy truth, quote unquote. But how close that is to reality is, subject to what you feel about the National Enquirer of the time. So, yeah, it's interesting, I thought.
So it's a history that stuck.
Yes. So, it's the play became a little more famous than the historical accounts just because of the sensationalism. But that said, it's in the play that they talk about sort of her love of poisons and how people just kind of drop like cockroaches around her. So hence that's the reference within like when Barrow says like she didn't just turn into Lucretia Borgia overnight. Like it's not like she just knows everything about poisons and, suddenly.
I just love the number of references that are in these books. Like just fabulous.
See, that's what I'm saying. Whenever Jess is pushing me to do other book series, I'll just say, okay, which ones have some good historical crap for me to jump into?
I have never read a book in my life, so I don't know.
Yeah. I heard you were illiterate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's why audiobooks exist.
Yeah. You should really read The Night Circus, though.
Yeah.
I've got that one on my queue, at least. I picked it up.
Send it to the top.
Who's it by?
Aaron Morgenstern.
Oh, yes. You told me about this.
So the police do investigate, and Barrow looks at a bunch of the different tableaus, and I couldn't help but look up the different stories behind the
Tanzan gets to drop some knowledge now.
Yeah.
Yeah, your turn. Go for it.
No, I really do. I go to like Google these things. Tanzan will do it.
Tanzan, why do I have so much work on my plate?
Yeah. I don't need to learn about this today. I'll learn it at recording.
I host, I edit, I research, I write.
So the first tableau is the House of Bluebeard. And that's a Bluebeard is a man who marries and murders many women.
Fun.
The Pit and the Pendulum is a short story by Edgar Allan Poe. The Court of Ivan the Terrible, described as intelligent and devout, but also prone to paranoia, rage, and episodic outbreaks of mental instability that increased with age.
King George.
That's how I'm going.
The Haunted Bedroom.
How old are you now?
Not old enough to claim crazy. Not senile yet. I'm working on it.
So the Haunted Bedroom is an actual place, a Taliston house and gardens. It's decorated to look like the bedroom of a 7-year-old Edwardian child who had died there.
Dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, damn.
You can it's a bed and breakfast now. You can actually stay there. It's a real place.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
Hashtag couple goals.
Romantic getaway.
The last one is Tyburn Tree, and this is a location that was that they used to have a hanging gallows that they would hang criminals at. Barrow calls this very Grand Guignol, which is also reference to a real place. It's a theater, Le Théâtre de Grand Guignol, also known as Grand Guignol. It was a theater in Paris, and it had its opening in 1897 and its closing in 1962. It specialized in naturalistic horror shows. Its name is often used as a generalized term for graphic, amoral horror entertainment, a genre popular from Elizabethan to Jacobean theater. An example would be Titus Andronicus, The Duchess of Malfi, or even to more contemporary stuff like today's splatter films.
Right.
So they actually used to run these things.
So Freddy Krueger owes some thanks.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah, very grand Guignol.
I see what you did there.
And see, okay, so given all this knowledge drop that is clearly there, how can you expect JLH to be like fully on top the whole blood and water thing? Come on now.
Listen.
The man's well read. Come on. He can't be like every book that's ever,
And yet it seems like he has.
Yeah.
I'd really, JLH, just one picture of your bookcase. I need to know.
Right?
I need to know where it starts and ends.
Tweet it at us. Tweet it at us.
Please. Like,
What kind of education he may have had. Like, he definitely went to private schools, I'm sure.
And or spent a lot of time in his youth reading really creepy books.
Right.
well, and his background is like a video game designer, right?
Yeah.
Which makes me feel like a lot of his reading is just for himself. Because, like, his original background, I wouldn't imagine you'd need all of this research, right? Like, I mean, creating visuals does take from a lot of different things, but
I think he did the writing for the story,
Yeah,
not
I
the
don't
actual
know.
story. Okay.
video game
I don't
design.
know. I don't really know anything. But
We know that. That's
Yeah.
why you come and podcast.
because people mostly just podcast about things they're passive about.
Fact.
Meh. Whatever.
We don't actually care about this shit. We just spend hours talking and researching it.
Yeah. Meh.
Yeah.
Meh.
No big deal.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Meh.
Doing it all for the love of the talk.
We just really like to hear our own voices.
I hate my own voice. I'll get over it someday.
So Barrow,
Before or after the crazy break.
Probably after.
Yeah.
Barrow discovers the out-of-order machine and asks to see it. Sergeant uncovers it and finds a different penny arcade machine. This machine mocks the sergeant, showing off a scene of his transgressions, and of course the tarp that was on it continues to fall off of it.
Oh, I laughed at
Almost
that.
willingly as it.
The constables
Yeah.
try to hide it and like, no, don't look at this one. Yeah, no. It's got a mind of its own. You got to love that.
There we are for the sentient carnival again. It has a sense of humor for sure.
Right? And the machine was called Cuckolded by a Copper. The sergeant blushed. The little policeman looked really rather like him, a resemblance that wasn't lost on his constables. Worse yet, the woman looked a lot like Mrs. Blenheim on Maxtable Street, whose husband worked a lot of night shifts. But it's interesting, then that sort of strikes Barrow as interesting, as unique, because he says these machines, horror and death the whole length. Then we get to the last one, the machine incidentally that the police were told was the one with the recipe for the poison. And that one is broad comedy. Odd, wouldn't you say? Out of place? And I love Cabal's response. People like that sort of thing, repeated Cabal. Like, this becomes his mantra or excuse for, like,
People like
everything.
that, don't they?
Yeah, it's like he just, like, people like that, don't they? Like, his innocence almost becomes his shield, or his lack of connection to people becomes the shield behind which he hides when it's like, oh, did that offend? Oh, I had no idea.
Almost like a dog that only knows like 3 tricks,
Right?
Like every time he suddenly like doesn't know how to respond, he's like, people like that, people like that, people like that.
Well, it's his default for, I don't know why we did this.
Exactly.
Horst said people liked it.
I'm trying to empathize people. It's just, this is what
Yeah,
they like.
This is new to me. I actually don't have a clue what the hell people like.
Mr. Barrow, do you think I wanted any of this?
I just wanted to be alone in my semi-haunted house filled with skirting board people.
So Barrow casts a suspicion on Cabal and the carnival and tells him of the bad taste in his mouth that he gets, which, of course, Cabal makes fun of mercilessly a number of times. I kept on laughing because what was it, like 4 or 5 times? Like magical bad taste?
Right.
Forgot to brush your teeth?
Yeah.
Uncanny forensic palate? And criminological Epicurean evidence?
Yes, I love that. Perhaps one day, criminological Epicurean evidence will lose or will be admissible in court of law. In the meantime, I shall bid you a good day. Cabal shuts him down. Mic drop.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, he's just merciless with that.
I'm fully with that one because, yeah, these whole police hunters and stuff like that, bullshit.
I don't know. I believe in intuition, but, and if okay, tell me, if you weren't getting... Even you wouldn't get some bad juju around Cabal? I mean, dude sounds like he's got a
I'm
whole
sure
lot
you
of...
did, but it's still not admissible in court.
In fact. And Jess is the pragmatic one of our group.
I don't care about your feelings. You're going to die anyway.
Even if it's a life sentence first.
Mr. Barrow is just delaying the inevitable.
Absolutely. So yeah, Cabal shuts him down, runs back to the office, and meets Horst there. And Horst asks if she did it, the infanticide. And Cabal responds, and this is where you see like the really sort of like, whoa. He said, yes, isn't it marvelous? He stopped. Not that she killed her baby, obviously. And Horst says, no, it's not obvious. It's not obvious at all. I presume you're going to go and offer her a way out of her dilemma. That was the idea, said Cabal. He didn't like his brother's tone at all. So here we get another resurfacing of that moral sort of battle between Cabal and Horst and where they both stand. And you see that sort of giddiness from Cabal, and it's like, whoa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it's really that final countdown when, like, like, I'm so close, I'm so close, I'm so close, and you become
single-focused.
So single-focused, right?
The stakes are so high for him, too.
Hooray, somebody killed their baby! Right. Oh, wait. Never mind. Yay!
Well, and you've got this other moment, too, when Horst really digs it in. He's like, us creatures of the night should go to bed now, right? Like, he's fully dragging Johannes in with him now, too. He's like...
you are the monster also.
Monsters are not allowed to be out in the daytime, bitch. Yep. So go the fuck to bed, bitch.
Yeah.
Totally calls him out on being the monster,
Yeah. My little brother just engineered the murder of a child. There's nothing I can do to make you feel remorse if that didn't, says Horst. And I thought, ooh, that's cutting, right?
But as we learn it's a slight spoiler for like 3 pages, but as we learn, Johannes brings the child back to life in his offer to Mumsy to make this all better. So I can also see from how Johannes doesn't feel like he, engineered a murder. Johannes...
He fully intended to save the baby.
Right. Well, Johannes fully is like, oh, the kid's never going to die. It's a temporary, even the doctors eventually were like, it must have just been a coma, I imagine Johannes has basically been justifying himself that whole way, too. He's like, it's not that bad. The baby will be fine tomorrow.
Yeah.
Everybody chill.
The baby's fine, but the woman has done something that...
She's not going to be fine.
She's not fine.
But as far as,
She was fine before she walked in the door, potentially.
Which is why I think Johannes is a little bit more, fuck off, Horst. Like, I did something bad to the woman, but the baby's fine. Just chill. And thus far, we haven't seen any of this whole necromancy. Apparently, it doesn't stain anyone. Apparently, he can bring them back and they're back. So apparently, the baby will be otherwise completely normal as far as we know at this point, right? Like, we haven't heard a history of the people you bring back are never really the same, or they're stained, or they're a little bit...
come back zombies.
Right?
Yeah.
Like as far as we've heard, when it works, right?
Well, in this case, I think he's got diabolical influence, which helps.
Sure, but...
He's got the advantage this time.
But even still, it seems like, I can see why, as evil as it is, I can see why, Johannes is not quite as hesitant, because for him, necessary, like, whatever, kill a baby for like an hour, it'll be fine tomorrow. Like, chill out, everyone.
The ends justify the means.
Totally, right? Yeah, sure, like, we killed a baby, but is it really killing a baby when we bring him back 12 hours later?
Right.
Probably not, right?
Well, that makes sense, because Horst pleads again one more time for him to abandon his venture, and he's like, no.
Yeah.
Screw that.
So close.
Which makes sense, because he is planning on rectifying the situation as far as he can say.
And so here's my question. Like it said, I was wrong about which of us had become the murderer, said Horst. That woman last night, though, she never would have done what she did unless you suggested it. She'd have worked it out. Now she's damned whether she signs that contract or not. That's your doing. So my question, was where's the line on morality when dealing with the devil, first of all, but also in connection with what you're saying about, okay, so if Horst kind of knew, we established in our earlier conversation that Horst knew that a deal had been struck with the devil from the moment he left the crypt. Mm-hmm. So how could he not expect some shenanigans and some highly questionable shit to go down if he knew that the devil was running the show, right? Like, this is the devil's blood creating this. So how can you not expect some moral questions?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I feel like that's a little naive on Horst's part, maybe?
Yeah. I think that just has a juxtaposition of how optimistic he is.
Mm-hmm.
So, there is some hope there for my brother and for his life and for this carnival.
Despite being a vampire and a monster, and he's just like, but everything's going to be great.
Yeah, because Satan's at the wheel.
I think even Horst, though, has kind of been like, like this, like sort of like
glasses.
Well, yeah, like he's like doing like a buddy cop movie all by himself, and he thinks he's got his brother with him, and he's like, oh, sure, we're working with Satan, but it'll all work out in the end because you're not evil and you're not Satan. And then he's kind of coming to this moment right now. He's like, oh, I'm the only one who's.
So now he's Thelma and Louising it off the edge of the cliff?
Well, a little bit. He's a little bit like realizing like, oh, I'm actually the only one on this side of the fence. I'm the one looking through the window, and it's Johannes and Satan that have got this partnership going and not me and Johannes, and this is where he's starting to be like, oh,
how am I implicated?
I've helped out.
Yeah.
A wee bit much.
Cabal goes to the police station, pushes for entry to go see the woman and offers to pay all her legal bills. But I like this, but he asserts no liability, just a quote-unquote concerned citizen.
Actually, sorry, I want to go back real quick.
Yeah.
Right as Horst is leaving to go to bed, he looks at the hourglass and sees those last 2 grains of sand. And he makes the comment, he's like, I'm more sorry than you will ever know. And I think that's quite the...
little bit poignant.
Well, I think that's really we saw like in the Penny Arcade that Horst was trying to sabotage Cabal, but this is really the moment when you're like, all right, Horst is fully on the other team now.
Yeah,
he's like, he's
not on board anymore.
Full declaration of war now.
Which just really builds the climax because now Cabal's not working against himself. He's not working against Satan. He's also working against his brother, potentially. Mm-hmm. Right.
Well, and again, and Horst, focusing on that hourglass is quite the threat.
Yeah. No doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's been the one that's been helping them get through a lot of these difficulties.
Yeah.
See, which I think is shady as fuck. You turn your back in the final moments, like, sorry, I don't care about your morals. You've been here for 364 days.
Which is, again, why I blame Horst for his whole naivety.
Yeah.
He's just very
Maybe charismatic, maybe sweet, but stupid AF.
Believes in his brother to a fault, especially when he shouldn't.
Right.
Good old familia love.
Right? I'm like...
murking the waters.
Because none of us have ever dealt with that. Yay, family. Cabal, next scene, he heads into the police station, offers to pay the legal bills, and Cabal admits to the woman that the machine was a tool of entrapment, and he offers to reverse it all if she signs the contract. That was just that I lost a little bit of respect for Cabal. Like, okay, you owned up to it, good for you. But like now you're just basically twisting the knife, saying like, yeah, well, you're pretty much regardless of what you do. And hey, by the way, they hate child killers in prison. So good luck to you.
Yeah.
Fuck you very much. Sign my contract.
One of the coldest moments in calculating
100%
that we've come across him being.
I think that's why I found this chapter so challenging because like I want to love Cabal. I do. Like I really... There's so much about him that's charming, and like as much as he's a jackass in so many ways, he's an endearing jackass. You kind of want to believe in his semi-good intentions, or at least his lust for knowledge.
Well, like again, you want the Necromancer to win. You just don't want it to be at the
detriment of the good guy.
Detriment of just the regular people.
Yeah.
You don't want it to be at the detriment of
You want your bad guy to be good.
Yeah. This damn dichotomy of man.
Right. Oh, the anti-hero of the journey. So.
The woman realizes Cabal is a necromancer. And totally calls him on it.
Says it as if it was the worst word she knew at that moment. It was.
I love this, though, because this is not the first time that people have just fully outright called him a necromancer. And I love that there's just like, I don't know, like a certain tilt that is all it takes for people in this world to just fully motherfucker.
I'm calling it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a fun, well-known job description in this universe, apparently.
I was going to say, it wouldn't be my first title to go to if I'm, trying to place somebody's profession.
Yeah, but in this universe, there just seems
Doctor,
to be like...
lawyer, engineer, necromancer?
There just seems to be a
what
certain level that people are just like, bitch, should have known.
Yeah. Well, and just,
instead of making lawyer jokes, they make necromancer jokes.
Exactly. Yeah.
So a necromancer walks into a bar.
Ouch.
No head on my beer, please.
And kills my baby.
Yeah, that was quickly thought of. Yeah, so the woman eventually signs the contract, and Cabal walked out into the new day, or the last day of the carnival. He needed one last soul and had every chance of succeeding. Why, then he wondered, did he feel so wretched?
I found the writing really interesting of how JLH makes it an actual new paragraph, or like almost a new section just for that statement.
What do you mean?
Because he could have included that on his last statement, like in the book itself. When you're reading it, it actually takes it out and makes that a new segment.
There's like a break in the page, like.
Yeah. Okay.
Between.
So it's like it's a almost like a brand new moment.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's totally the transition to the next chapter, yeah?
Right. But I think it's more to emphasize the feeling of him feeling so awful.
Oh, no
like
doubt.
to draw more attention to it.
Yeah. Well, he knows he's done something bad. Like, he can sort of say to Horst, yeah, no, it's fine. And he can justify it according to his intention to get the souls and hit the job and task at hand.
Right.
But on some level, he knows he's a bad boy.
See, and I see this as the first crack in the wall. Well, actually, the second crack in the wall, because the first crack in the wall would have been the soldier, the ghost soldier, where he could have harvested his soul, but he didn't.
Right.
But this is, I think, another crucial moment where his determination and his facade fail him.
Right. So does he actually has he lost his heart in addition to his soul?
Right.
No? Like,
Right.
I think both of those times it forced him into a position of having to question his own moral stance and what is right and what is wrong, right? Like, up until now, it's easy to justify because, well, they're all damned anyway.
Well, and I also wonder a little bit if Horst's influence is starting to sort of infiltrate.
Well, blood is thicker than water. Watch Jess freak out.
You know what it means.
I've told you this now.
3
How many
times?
How many times? Yeah. So, no, and I love that ending. Like, it totally makes me want to flip the page and just keep on going because he felt wretched. He had accomplished exactly what he set out to do, but somehow he's not feeling so good about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, dun dun dun. What comes next?
All positives, I'm sure.
It's just going to be boring from here on in. Stay tuned, folks. Stay tuned.
This concludes our episode 3.11, Grand Guignol. Thank you for listening. You can find us online at freeflowrambling.com and necromancers.ca. There we have links to our other podcasts, social media, and other fun tidbits. Please subscribe if you like what you're hearing, and please consider supporting us through Patreon to keep the undead alive and to see more content. We are Free Flow Rambling, and remember, reanimation is trending.